I just thought just to start like talking and putting stuff out because that's the way the kind of the installs go. This is what I use my studio to play with the sound. Two very nice wee Genelec speakers, but they're really worth it, especially if you're using sound because they're really clear. They let you hear what you want to hear. There's no like too much bass or too much treble. They're very neutral, and they're just great for editing video and sound. And when somebody's saying something like, is that a sound in there? You'll be able to hear it. Headphones that I use, Sennheisers. Okay. Yeah. So they're like you see quite a lot of the sound engineers and films walking around with these. I use these primarily for field recording, so when I'm using the camera and wanting to hear stuff, or a field recorder. Also, if I'm going in to text something, it's always good to have your own headphones. And the really good thing about these is that every bit in this is replaceable, so you just buy it if it breaks. They come apart. A cheaper model, which is the Audio Technica. I have these in my studio, and I use them for when I want to listen to things on headphones. And again, they're very neutral. You can hear everything around you. Then the setup I work with in the studio is basically I use this, the DI box that connects the speakers to the phono plug here. So the speakers go out here, they go into there, and then this plugs into the computer. So you can get stereo sound into the.
Oh, it just keeps the quality.
Keeps the quality, yeah. And it doesn't plug into the electric, so you don't get the electric hum. Unfortunately, they run on wee R9 batteries, so you need to replace them every now and again. But it's handy and it's portable. Sometimes you don't need high-tech something to create a good sound or good atmosphere for the sound. It depends, again, where the sound's coming from, what it is. Even starting to try to sort out what sound you want where. Forget about the tech. It's further down the road. You think about it's walking around the space and going, right, I want that there, and stop putting them into, just like even use this and put it into different tracks and play them and see what they sound like. Listen to them on the headphones or something and just start to get a feel for what the sound is. Or like if you're thinking about like immersive sound, it's like, do you want it to be like really like, like that stuff you see in big galleries, so places like where it's like you're all really tacked out and like really nice speakers and stuff, or is it like the feeling of, could be enough just having a couple of speakers and a couple of different devices playing. It's because I think it gives you a different there's different presence or different experience of the work. It was really digital work, then you probably want it to be presented in a really digital way. Whereas if it's very analog work, you might want it presented like these. This is actually broken at the moment. I need to phone them up. Have you seen one of the mini rigs? Yeah. So really good portable speakers. Maybe about 100 quid a pop, I think. I'm not sure. But the thing with these, they're Bluetooth, but I think you can wire them in as well, but you can network them together. So they'll all play, so you could have 10 of them in a circle, and they're just sitting there, and you could be standing in a circle, and you just hear the sound, so then if you could program the sound to go round, so it's like, this is just something like Ableton or something like that we've used, things like that. So the Raspberry Pi is a wee microcomputer which runs on Linux. But so what we do is we download a program, burn it on the drive. So it's a video looper, so it'll just play videos. But I did a performance piece in East Belfast years ago. Friend was showing stuff in church, and I got this and just connected it, so it projected under the pew. It was like these wee projectors, but the wee mini projectors have got so good these days. So the wee LED ones or laser ones, which like you can pin the corners and stuff. But like I had that, got like a nice wee tiny, video display or something, or equally you plug it into this or that, or you have a couple of them, you can network them together like the bright signs, but that's an extra bit of programming. So you have to sort of judge yourself somewhere where your tech is and what you're showing. I don't think things need to be nice and pristine to make an impact or look good. There's ways around it. It's whether you want it like that or not. There will be HDMI screens. Yeah, so you can put the Pi in there, and they just run that off. It's just HDMI, and then you run the sound out and stuff as well. Just a wee housing. You just take that off, you see, and then you connect it up with this and the cables, you know, and put this in there, and you've got yourself a wee touch screen. You can use, if you're good at programming, use the Raspberry Pis. There's Arduinos. You can buy a wee Arduino kit, and there's workshops online you can just go on to, and you can start to use them, and that's like you can start to use motion sensors and stuff, and you can just buy them and start to build up your knowledge base, plugging and playing things and getting sound in of something, sound out of something, or video. That's what I've been looking into in my own work at the moment. That's why I started looking into things like Ableton and those lights. So what I'm looking into is then basically you're trying to change things from something to something else. So it's using MIDI controls. So this is kind of like a Raspberry Pi or Arduino board. It's like a wee motherboard. And basically this works the same way. It's got a wee operating system. You load your sound on your stuff onto that, and it's basically got these different keys. So each one of these is like a channel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And it's like a wee JavaScript window comes up. But you just plug them, with these wee connectors, or you can wire straight in. You can just put one of these in,
click it on, and then
clip into that, and then you plug it in, and but also what you can do is you connect the ink. Electric paint, so you could do a print, and you could use like connective ink, or you put like, copper, whatever, to make it connect, and you can actually, then that means you can touch the print, or you can make it more sensitive or less sensitive, so you could come up to the image, and again, it's a kind of low tech, but it's a good fun way to start. I know some people still have arguments. It's like you need to know what you're doing, and then I kind of go, well, you need to know what the idea is, and you need to have a fair idea of the stuff you're working with. But you can't go and learn all this stuff, and you can't go and learn all that stuff, and you can't go and learn all this stuff. You need to sort of have a general base, and then you can find somebody who you feel fits in with that, and go, right, look, that's why film industries have lots of people, and why sound has lots of people. Artists don't have, working with this level of stuff, you can't be an expert in everything, but you need to kind of know what it is, and I think when it comes to installing stuff in galleries and things, you need to have a bit of a tangible knowledge of why you want this projected and that sound like that, and why you want it over here, and that's sometimes just experience of doing the stuff and setting things up. The first thing is get it there and get it out, and then it's like maybe try to improve it at a later date.